Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we get to the heart of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm Pete the Retailer.
Welcome back, you guys.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. Thank you for finishing out the week with us here on an airplane full of poultry. It's nice of you.
That's how I like to finish my weeks. Yeah.
We're here for minute 15, and minute 15 begins with Indy, Shorty, and Willie getting settled on the plane, and it ends with our first Indiana Jones style map.
What are you, a lion tamer? Is that is that foreshadowing of the boxcar lion scene in The Last Crusade?
I hope not.
I
wrote, is Indy trying really hard to make a bad pun?
I was saying that exact same thing.
What are you, a lion tamer? He's like, no, I'm allowing you to tag along.
Oh my God.
And I had never thought that before, but then just watching it now, I was like, oh, maybe he's just really bad at puns.
I thought that too, because the way he like kind of enunciates it, he's like, I'm allowing you to tag along.
I'm allowing you to tag along. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna, I don't want to beat up on Willie every single chance I get, but I was initially like, oh, lion tamer, duh, okay, Willie. But then this line is actually kind of funny in this context, because we were saying last time it's kind of weird that he gets dressed up in his Indiana Jones costume.
Right.
And like from her point of view, he must look insane right now. Like, what did you just do? You're like, all I know you as is like this kind of suave James Bondy white dinner jacket guy.
Who are you?
You're dressed like a lion tamer. That's insane.
Who are you?
Who are you?
He's like that kid in high school who, like, someone once said he was wearing an outfit, and someone said, "Hey, you look pretty good in that." And so then he just wore it every day for the next 30 years. he has no idea how he actually looks. Yeah.
Well, I want to know, was this line the inspiration for in the beginning of Last Crusade? Like he gets the bullwhip, and he's actually has a second where he's lion taming.
Yeah.
Right.
He goes back in time and gives that idea to himself as a kid.
So they should drop that. If you were making the Indiana Jones saga or whatever, if you're editing all three of the important movies into one coherent movie, maybe that would be, the flashback would come here. She's like, what are you, a lion tamer? And he's like, bring. There, River Phoenix.
Once I was a lion tamer.
And that's Indiana Jones and the mystery of the bloody Fabergé egg.
Yeah.
I like the lion tamer line. And if only because I feel like as time goes on, like lion tamer is going to be like, with circuses kind of dying off, people are going to be like, what the heck is a lion tamer?
That's funny. And they'll just read into it whatever they think makes sense.
Right. Like, I guess that was just some racist thing they did back then.
Makes sense.
Well, and when Indy calls Willie doll,
Willie
is
doll.
that...
You hate that, don't you?
No, I was going to say, is that foreshadowing of the whole Indian theme?
Oh yeah,
the whole Indian voodoo doll theme.
Yeah, I thought you meant the voodoo doll from later, but you meant doll. Like,
doll.
I thought you meant voodoo doll too.
That's what I thought too. What do you mean?
Well, doll, like DHAL.
Is that lentils, right?
Like Groald.
There you go.
The cuisine.
That's funny.
But see, if you guys are allowed to be hard on Willie in Short Round, I'd like to be a little bit hard on Indy. Like I just think he's not a nice guy a lot of the time, and he seems to be a little bit misogynistic from time to time. And this scene, like just the way he talks to her, I don't know. It seems sort of inappropriate.
Yeah, his use of like doll and stuff.
Like, why don't you give your mouth a rest? Like just the way he just seems disgusted when he says it.
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels forced. It feels like, hey, we're writing a movie in the 30s. Let's throw in some dolls and skirts and dames and 23 skidoo.
Are they also trying to go for a kind of, banter between like, oh, they're eventually going to fall in love, and now because now they start off hating each other, that kind of like,
Yeah.
But you're right, it doesn't come across as like playful banter. It comes across as genuine, like,
Yeah, I
Misogyny.
hate your guts.
yeah. She should be like, why did I even come with
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
Can you just drop me off in Chungking? Oh no, look, we went right past it.
Nope, sorry. Look at the map.
And then he kind of rubs it in. He says she's allowed to tag along, and she's even like, "What do you mean tag along?" Like he basically grabbed her and took her hostage.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But if you watch what she does, the action when she says that is she rips her flower off.
Yeah.
Which is it's sort of the last vestige of her club life.
Well, it's
Oh,
his
it's actually
flower.
Indy's flower. Yeah.
It's his jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I mean, she does. That's a sign or just I guess an icon that is from the club. Like everybody has that red. But why are you guys making this so hard? I'm trying to say.
I like it. Yeah. She's shedding her previous life.
Yeah.
Kind of disconnecting with her history.
Well, and she does it sort of like violently, rips it off and throws it on the ground. You know?
Yeah.
I guess I was reading it more as like he gave her the jacket and the rose was attached to it, and she's like, I don't want to take flowers from you, so I'm getting rid of like I'm throwing that. Even I'll take the jacket, but leave the romantic gestures out.
Oh, that's good. That's
Take the
good.
jacket, leave the flowers.
Right.
Exactly.
And then he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
He takes a nap.
The second time he falls asleep like this on a plane, where he puts his hat over his eyes.
Oh yeah.
See, to me, that seems like the first time in this movie that Indiana Jones shows up.
When he goes to sleep.
Yeah, that he does it, and you know what? I'm amazed because that's one of those minutes where I think it's done. She goes, "You haven't been able to take your eyes off me," and then he just does that action.
Yeah.
Whereas because this being Temple of Doom, I thought he was going to punctuate it with a "Watch me," or "Says you."
Right.
You in one army.
Yeah.
But he just does it, and that's again, it's a little bit more subtle. It doesn't need explanation.
Right.
Or the rest of this movie is his dream.
Yeah, so I was going to say, what movie happens in this dream? Within this dream.
This is the Cisco Kid. The late Gene Wilder.
Oh. So yeah, we get the map thing, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Right.
You know you're in an Indiana Jones movie now.
My brother and I would, whenever we would point at a map and run our fingers along it, we would sing the Indiana Jones theme song. So, or like a globe. Like a globe is the good way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm picturing you guys like in the mall looking at You Are Here. Like, how do I get to Sid's pants?
Oh, totally. I put my hat down over my eyes.
Right.
Little red dot at the Apple store.
Nazi
Keep
guy
on going.
following me.
Did you put lyrics to it, kind of Life Day style, or?
Oh, I should have. We weren't that creative.
Oh.
Want to tamper with the greats.
Well,
This map doesn't make a lot of sense though, because it shows them flying over the Great Wall, which is nowhere near where they are on this map.
Eh.
Well,
How would you know it's China otherwise?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they did want to. Spielberg did want to film a scene where there was a motorcycle chase on the Great Wall, and they couldn't get permission to film in China. So I'm wondering if that's kind of a holdover.
So they just put it incongruously in the
Yeah,
map.
it's like, you know what? I wanted the Great Wall. We're gonna have the Great Wall.
Sure.
Well, speaking of the map, I have a question for you, Tommy.
Okay.
So, on the map, the plane starts in Shanghai,
Yeah.
but according to all your map trickery business from Raiders, where does it really start?
What are you talking about?
Oh, no, it was probably just a stopover or a layover.
I have no problem. Here's what Jared's talking about.
Lao Che was in Alaska.
Exactly.
These guys the map in Raiders starts in what, San Francisco? And so
Yeah.
that's what gave these idiots the idea that Marshall College, where Indy works, is in California, not in Connecticut, because they couldn't use their imaginations to say, oh, he probably took a bus or something or another plane from Connecticut to California and then started his adventure. So no, I think sure they started in Shanghai and they kept going.
It'd be funny to see like a really slow red line as he takes the train like,
Yeah.
to Chicago and then changes trains
Yeah.
and goes on.
Stops in Hartford for like an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a nice crossover moment, though. As I know, Pete, you were doing some research about this plane, but he could have taken this exact plane if he had done that cross country route.
Oh.
Yeah.
So why?
Is,
Sorry, go ahead.
why we were going to get into the plane thing. If you have something else, you might as well say it now. Just
Well,
gonna
just
talk
gonna-
about
for the
airplanes
next
for a
10
while.
minutes.
Going back to this can segue into the plane thing. Why do the pilots actually land and refuel and then take off again? Like, why not just drop them off? They're 100 feet. Why are they going so long? Do they have like relatives that they're well, I might as well go as far as Anchorhead.
They got to keep up the ruse.
Gonna see Aunt Minnie in Tibet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Were they like wrestling? Oh, should we do it? Should we not
Because
do it?
I actually did I looked that up. From Shanghai to Chungking is like 1,100 miles.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to figure out. That's how I got into some of the plane data because I was like, oh, how far would that plane go? Well, what kind of plane is it? What? Trying to figure out, and I think
So that's
There's-
a damn long way to go just to jump out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they would. I don't think it could make that whole first leg without refueling at some point.
Right.
So
Well, maybe everything was fine. I don't know. Maybe the pilots didn't like the way Indy was talking. To
he's too mean to her. Let's get out
yeah.
of here.
You know what? I'll tell you. You know what? But then again, they should have taken her with them. You know, they should have
Yeah.
kidnapped her, kind of like Indy did on the way out the plane.
Right there, you go.
This just got really weird.
So there's
This-
this.
He was
the scene
asleep. They
actually-
could have just thrown him out.
Yeah.
They're not lacking in ways to kill him. That's the important thing. Why do they wait as long as they do? That's the
Especially since he's asleep.
Yeah.
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 And maybe it's maybe they're not as much in Lao Che's camp as he would think they were.
or maybe
But
they
then
actually
why do
had
they do
some
it
stuff-
eventually?
Maybe they had some stuff to drop off in Chungking first.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They
Maybe
dropped
some
it
other-
off, and then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, now that we're on the second leg, now's the time when we jump off.
Yeah.
Or maybe they had to find the right mountain
Hmm.
Maybe.
because they're like, that one, no.
Or maybe they
That one,
forgot they were
no.
supposed to jump out until they were like on their second leg of the trip. Like, oh geez, yeah, forget. Oh, God.
I guess it
why or
was
Lau though? He's invested a lot in this. Like that's a lot of fuel he's paying for. Like he's getting rid of the plane. He's all in on this.
Yeah.
I guess the whole thing was the will of Shiva, right?
Oh, that's right. Oh,
It's
she's
like
just
he-
Yeah.
an agent of Shiva.
Yeah.
Shiva has brought them there, then that's that he did it through these other agents.
Yeah.
They were angels the whole time.
Then why
So
do
you
they
guys
need
want to talk about
parachutes?
planes?
Yeah.
Speaking of angels, yeah, we can, I guess, compare data here. That I guess this is a Ford, as in Harrison, tri-motor. And it really irks me that there were 199 of these made because they couldn't just make one more.
That bothers me too.
Yeah. And apparently 18 of them are still around,
Oh wow.
and 8 of them are still FAA airworthy,
Wow.
Wow.
including this one, which obviously isn't actually from the 30s, but it's from, well, I mean, it is, but it isn't, I mean, I guess it's not as surprising when you think that it was filmed in the 80s and not
Yeah.
in the 30s.
Right.
But yeah, this one still flies, and it's on display at the Fantasy of Flight Museum, ? in Polk City, Florida. I think it's like a museum kind of attraction thing where they have all kinds of airplanes and stuff like that. But this that kind of made me want to go check it out.
And this specific plane is actually kind of a famous plane. Like it was christened by Gloria Swanson, the silent movie actress, and she christened it the City of Philadelphia. And it was originally owned by Transcontinental Air Transport, which became TWA. But this plane was one of their first transcontinental airliners. And there's actually a 1929 newsreel you can watch with this exact plane that they used in the movie being used for like this promotional movie where they fly from New York to Los Angeles. And it's pretty cool. Like you see them in this plane and they get on a train in New York and they fly to Ohio. And then from Ohio, they fly to Kansas and they fly to New Mexico and then they fly to LA and Amelia Earhart meets them there when they land.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
But it's cool. Like it's the exact same plane from 1929.
Right. Yeah, with the interior, I mean, obviously the I guess it's a set in the actual in the stuff that we see here, but the interior of the plane looks awesome. It's got that very deco, like, you know, it looks almost like the interior of the Zeppelin from Last Crusade.
Oh, cool.
And it's got feathers flying around.
Those chickens just come with it. They've always been on the plane, and they always will.
Yeah. Weber should have known about that. That model of plane just comes with chickens.
It's ironic. Birds that can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
Tragic,
That's why they need an airplane.
Clearly, they can fly. They just need tickets.
You think one of those pilots when they're getting out of the plane is like, "As God is my witness, I thought chickens could fly."
Yeah, so I think I thought I read that the range was around 500 miles, which isn't bad for a plane of that era, but still, I don't think is enough to make the Red Line trip without refueling.
Maybe they met up with one of those bomber refueling things that in midair, you know,
There you go.
Doctor Strangelove style. It's the only explanation.
Yeah.
It's funny though, in their transcontinental, when you would take that transcontinental trip, you would fly all day and then take a train all night so you could sleep comfortably. And the plane would meet you at the next stop when you woke up in the morning.
Oh, weird.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
Does.
Wait, it would be the same plane? It's not even a different plane?
No, I think it's the same plane. Yeah, I think like the pilot, they just maybe like Pony Express kind of thing.
Seems like
Wasteful.
cheating. Are you on the plane or aren't you?
Well, it's just wasteful. Why on earth would you fly the plane when you can just have another plane there, like relay style?
For comfort.
Yeah.
That way you
have a
could just
backup
leave.
plane also flying with them.
I
Just
think
in
we can
case.
agree that we've come a long way in airplane travel.
Have we? Have we?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
There are some things we've figured out since the 30s, but we still have a ways to go.
I also wondered if they would get very cold in that plane. It doesn't look like it's
Yeah.
well insulated, and they
Pressurized, yeah.
Probably
So,
crazy cold, actually.
yeah.
Freezing.
And Shorty doesn't seem to have any, outfit other than just his Shorty costume. Like he doesn't have like a coat or anything or a hat.
Oh,
like Arctic Adventure short round. Or,
How awesome would it have
action
been
figures?
if he had a little Indiana Jones costume? Wouldn't that have been awesome? Like he had a little leather jacket, and oh my god, that would be adorable.
That would have made the movie
Yeah,
bad.
Even like on Different Strokes where Arnold dressed up like Mr. T.
yeah, exactly.
What if Mr. T was in this movie? Is there any movie that couldn't be made better with Mr. T?
I don't think so.
See, I feel like almost like, Jonathan Ke Kwan is almost the Mr. T of 1984. Like, although Mr. T is the Mr. T of 1984, but like having that.
George Orwell's 1984. You mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think you guys see my point.
Yes.
But he, it is almost like an extra textual reference that it's just like, oh yeah, this guy was, he was hot. He was in everything for like, 2 years. And then we just got over it,
Yeah.
It's like having, like Grumpy Cat in the movie or something like that.
Yeah, or William Hung.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. It's a little snapshot of 1984.
Michael
magical world.
Dukakis is the villain.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't 84, was he?
Just throwing Rubik's Cubes at people.
No, Mondale was
he's
84.
80.
Right?
Right.
Well, now that we've gotten to Walter Mondale, is there anything else for minute 15?
Do you guys have a Mondale signal or anything?
We do, but only we can see it. Well, I want to say thank you to our guests, Pete and Alex. This has been awesome. This has been a great week of Temple of Dooming, in my opinion.
I enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
makes me want to watch a bit of the movie, and I'm sure I'll watch like another 10 minutes and be like, oh,
Forget it. Those poor guys.
yeah.
Nah, come on. We're all being positive. We're having a great time watching Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true.
when I was a kid, I loved this movie.
Oh, me too.
You know, there's some there's some of that in me still.
Yes.
And it was just such a like I viscerally remember just kind of like my neighbor coming over to just basically tell me that we were going to go see it somehow, and just kind of like he didn't. I don't think he even said anything. He just kind of looked at me and like half nodded, and I was like, "We're going to see Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom right now." He's like,
That's awesome.
like it was just such the thing.
I think I saw this movie like 5 times that summer.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That was a big summer.
Did the video game come out the same summer as the movie, or did that come out a year later?
I want to say it was even later. I want to say it was like 87.
Yeah,
or
it could have been a
88.
couple of years.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it specifically a Temple of Doom game or just an Indiana Jones game?
No, it's
No,
Temple of Doom.
specifically
Temple of
Temple of
Doom.
Doom.
Yeah.
Like
I had that in the basement of my college dorm, so I would always go down there and whip the
Was
buggy
that
guards.
college in Connecticut or was it in California?
Easy.
Yeah, so I love this when it first came out. We're wrapping up, and you were talking about we said positive,
Thank you, yes.
being positive, and
Yes.
Pete and I both said we loved this movie when we were younger. So
I'll be positive. I will say, I don't even know if I've said this on the show yet. I think this is my favorite of the sequels. And I know that part of it has to do with that, you know, having loved it as a kid and, you know, where I was in 1984 and stuff. But you can't ignore that sort of thing. This is it's an important movie in my life. So
Well,
there.
it's a nonstop roller coaster ride for sure.
Sure.
Literally at
it's-
some points.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I mean, what's you're watching it as a kid? It's what's not to love,
Yeah.
and it feels like summer.
Oh,
'Cause
totally.
everybody's sweating all the time.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. This one feels more like a movie for teenagers compared to Indiana Jones, which almost seemed more like a movie for adults. Not that teenagers could enjoy it, but it was like it
mean
wasn't
Last Crusade?
especially kid friendly.
Yeah.
Last Crusade was kind of I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about that. But,
Mhm.
you know, we were comparing this one and in Raiders,
Oh,
the
sure.
different
Right.
tone. This one definitely seems more like I would have seen it 15 times in the theater as a teenager.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
So, despite the fact that it's so much more gory than
I know, really. Well, that's
So
why I
it's-
loved it as a teenager.
Yeah.
It's gory and awesome. Pete Mummert, where can people get in touch with us to let us know how wrong our rankings are of the Raiders movies?
You can find us on Facebook. And if you want to come to our website, indianajonesminute.com, if you go to the library tab, I'll also put up a video of this playing the city of Philadelphia and that promotional video from 1929.
Awesome. And everyone immediately needs to go listen to the Star Wars Minute, hosted by our guests, Pete the Retailer and Alex Robinson, because it is simply one of the best podcasts on the planet. It inspired us and many others. And guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
oh, it's been a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on. Thanks for having
Totally.
us on early too, so we can get, you know, take a breather, get a nice rest.
Yes.
If you guys go on and do, you know, Last Crusade, then we'll talk.
Yes.
I like it more than Alex does, so that's just the
We need to find some what Star Wars tie can we? Oh well, General Veers is in the whole thing. We'll have you in
Yeah.
for some General Veers minutes.
Sure.
love me some General Veers.
Oh, me too. Well, everybody else, please come back on Monday where we will continue this cavalcade of fun with minute 16 of Temple of Doom here on the Indiana Jones Minute. Doll.
You guys didn't get that?
I got it.
Thank you. Probably got padiddle too.
No, I still have no idea what that was.